Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla and the new show Overflow episode 23. Ford has released their earnings deck and things are not looking great. And David Sachs says AI capabilities will increase by 1 million times in just 4 years. And Waymo also shows off their new Robotaxi plant. And we have a new article claiming that Volkswagen ID bus Robotaxi could beat Tesla. And BMW has paused its production of some of its EVs in European plants. And it is now official that Elon Musk has created an official city. And OpenAI has bowed to the pressure and non-profits would retain control of the company. And you would think that in 2025 every OEM can make an over-the-air update to its customers, but embarrassingly that is not the case. And we are only 25 days away from Tesla launching its Robotaxis, and this will change everything. All of this and much more in today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
Ford has released their earnings deck and things are not looking good. We continue to hear how bad Tesla is doing, but let's see how many of the mainstream media will pick up on just how bad the legacy automakers are doing. Because I have already shown last week how Mercedes, Volkswagen and Porsche were all down more than 40% in their profits in Q1. But we have some more bad news this week as well. Because Ford's net income dropped 72% year over year to just $500 million. Ford stock went down over 3% in after-hours trading, as earnings per share was down from 0.49 to just 0.14. So the free cash flow was negative again, just like last year, but this time it's down 3 times as much as last year. And Ford lost $1.5 billion in free cash flow. And as AJ pointed out, in the last 5 years, Ford generated $6.4 billion in free cash flow. Over the same period, Tesla generated $23.3 billion despite investing $5.4 billion in AI infrastructure. And we continue to hear how bad Tesla is doing. Well, if Tesla is doing badly, what the hell do you call all the legacy automakers then? And Ford is down to $27 billion in cash balance, so Ford has about $10 billion less in the bank than Tesla does. And Ford did of course lose money on the EV business, but at least they lost less in Q1 than they did in Q1 2024. They lost about $800 million, and that is even though Ford in Q1 of last year only had a revenue in their Model E business of $100 million, and in this Q1 they had $1.2 billion in revenue. So they 10x'd their revenue on their EV business, but is still losing just under $1 billion a quarter. And they sold 31,000 units in Q1, as I have shown before. And Ford is also adjusting their full-year guidance, as we saw GM do last week, as they wrote in their earnings deck. Underlying business strong, tracking within our previous full-year adjusted EBIT guidance range of $7 to $8.5 billion, excluding new tariffs-related impact. Estimated full-year gross cost of tariffs, $2.5 billion. Estimated full-year net adjusted EBIT impact of tariffs, $1.5 billion. Suspending all full-year guidance, giving material tariffs-related near-term risk and the potential range of outcomes. Yes, so getting almost impossible for the US automakers to guide for the full year, as they don't know where all of these tariffs will end and what will be offset and so on. So definitely not easy being an automaker in the US at the moment. As Jeff also wrote, Ford, GM and Stellantis will almost likely have $10 billion on tariff impact callouts. We've, the federal government using our tax dollars, giving them $26 billion in loan and grant plans for their fair and equitable EV transition loan and grants since 2021. Knowing how stupid all of this is, I wouldn't be surprised if they need a government bailout as a result of tariffs within 12 to 18 months. $26 billion in 4 years, and they are still only making like 100 to 150,000 EVs a year. So they don't seem to have spent that money very wisely. Must be a little embarrassed to have been giving this huge amount of money and do so little over such a long time when you see someone like the Chinese company like Xiaomi that also gets subsidies, but they have overtaken both Ford and GM in EV sales units in less than a year with their first car ever and with only one EV model. Embarrassing. And Ford and GM and basically everyone else have been talking about catching up and overtaking Tesla for half a decade or more. And this is how it looks in the US. After $26 billion in loan and 4 years of ramping up EV production, yes, it still does not look very good for the legacy automakers to make this transition without getting bailed out. Waymo have also showed off their new Robotaxi Plunge, and we had an article that claimed the Volkswagen ID Bus Robotaxis would beat Tesla. Good one. Well, I have to strongly disagree with this article, as Volkswagen will make the ID bus for the Robotaxi adventure. The full self-driving software for the Volkswagen ID bus is a joint effort, with Mobileye providing the core autonomous driving technology, which include 13 cameras, 9 LiDAR sensors and 5 radar units. So very expensive tech in an already very expensive ID bus. But we are far from done. MOIA, a Volkswagen subsidiary, is handling the integration and operational software for ride-pooling service. And another company called Emotion 3D provides AI-based in-cabin monitoring software, Cabin Eye, to ensure passenger safety by automating tasks like checking seatbelts use and passenger count. And all these companies need to earn money on this adventure. Again, just the car the Volkswagen provides costs something like 3 to 4 times more than Tesla's Cybercab cost Tesla to produce. And Tesla has made all of what Volkswagen is trying to integrate with their many companies themselves. And again, Volkswagen is aiming for thousands of robotaxis at some point, and Tesla will have millions within a couple of years. This partnership is destined to fail, just like the partnership with Ford did. And no, they will not beat Tesla. I will bet this article will age very poorly. But we also have another competitor showing off their plan for making robotaxis. Waymo showed off their new plan as they wrote. Partnering with Magna International, we opened our new Waymo driver integration plant in Mesa, Arizona, to scale the future of autonomous mobility. But what a good showcase of the difference between Tesla and Waymo. Firstly, yet another partnership made by Waymo. Remember, all of these partnerships that Waymo is out making all the time has to earn something on this robotaxi business. But also, just look at the plant. Look how small it is, not Tesla scale here. Yes, Waymo is ramping to thousands, but Tesla is building millions. Not really the same league, but also talking about the future of mobility. And then you see these old Jaguar I-Pace rolling into the shop that is not even being made anymore, and is a very poor EV when it comes to efficiency. It only gets like 2.4 miles per kilowatt hour according to EPA, whereas Tesla's Cybercab will do at least 5.5 miles per kilowatt hour. So Tesla will get twice as many miles for the same cost of energy. Even the Model Y has something like 50% more efficiency. And just look at all the crap they need to put on this already built EV. It looks so old school because their technology is old school. As I showed in yesterday's video, there is not much different from what Mercedes and others used back in the 80s to make their vehicles drive themselves. And then you see the Tesla Model Y. Not even the Cybercab, that is a whole new level, but the Model Y coming off the assembly line. that is not looking like some Frankenstein monster, but a very good looking car that is also a robotaxi. And Tesla is already producing over 1 million of these cars a year. Here Waymo is proudly showing off their little Frankenstein shop that is making a normal, inefficient EV into a robotaxi monster. But we only have about 25 days to go, and we will see Tesla's robotaxis in the street, and everyone will be able to see this is clearly the way of the future, not Waymo's Frankenstein taxi. And we are only 25 days away from Tesla launching their robotaxis, and this will change everything. And we had some very nice examples of full self-driving as always, as Tesla already wrote. The new Tesla Model Y drove my fiance and me back to the Tesla showroom today to part ways. It was awesome to have an entire weekend with this awesome car. This 45-minute drive is condensed to just 36 seconds. One portion of the drives include an impressive merger into a lane while construction was going on. Construction was no problem, but they also wrote, the first order of business took my parents on a full self-driving journey. Wow. This is crazy. You could hear the skepticism in my dad's voice as we started the drive. By the end of it, he couldn't believe how it navigated non-lined back roads to their house. Yes, this is the majority of people. They have no idea of what Tesla software can do, and most are just so skeptic because Elon has been screaming wolf for 7 years, but the wolf is coming. But this is the reaction we will see in most of the US and in Europe and in China, with full self-driving, supervised and unsupervised. It will blow people's mind, and for people here in Europe, it will feel like it is coming out of nowhere. And JC shared a nice video and wrote, Uber/Tesla Full Self-Driving Chronicles. Took a young teenage boy to his dad's house after a month of not being able to see him. When we arrived, Dad came out and checked out the Tesla and he loved it. I told him about full self-driving. His son told him how cool full self-driving was and what we in the Tesla community are out here doing. That he is foremost in our mind. Yes, people that experience full self-driving in the US or China at the moment are just blown away, and soon that will come to Europe as well. So for people to be obsessed about Tesla's car sales and margins here in 2025, only 25 days before the launch of the robotaxis, is kind of silly, as AJ also wrote. Whether Tesla sells 410, 440 or 470,000 in Q2 makes financially hardly any difference in the context of an almost $1 trillion market cap company. It's also a little ridiculous to obsess about car sales just as robotaxis are about to launch. It's like obsessing about iPod sales after Jobs announced the iPhone. As long as there is enough iPod sales to fund the iPhone rollout, everything is fine. Don't buy Tesla stock for the iPod, buy it for the iPhone. Hence, obsessing about car sales is silly in Q2 2025. Exactly. Everything about Tesla is about to change. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this new show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla shorts. Lara Trump interviewed Elon Musk and some employees and also got to watch Tesla Model Ys drive themselves autonomously off the production line and seemed very impressed.
And these are brand new. These have just been made and are rolling off the factory line.
Yes. We just kicked off. The cars now drive themselves from the end of the production line over to the ship out logistics lot.
These cars are going to drive themselves. Look at this. There it goes.
Yeah, right here.
Nobody's in there. Wow. That's amazing. That is so cool. Only Elon Musk could do this.
And BMW has stopped production of its i7, i5 and i4 and iX, all of which are produced in European plants, at least until the end of May. The report didn't give any reason to the pause, but all signs point to the tariff on automobiles. BMW built vehicles stateside, yes, but not EVs. Even if those EVs were built in the United States, the automakers has a global supply chain for their various components. BMW's 4 fully electric vehicles i7, 5, 4 and X are all manufactured in Europe, where BMW has been hard at work retrofitting manufacturing facilities to better accommodate the production of EVs on the same production line as their ICE vehicles. And Audi has reported Q1 numbers, and as Alex wrote on X, profits is down 14.4% and revenue was up 12.4%, vehicle deliveries down 3.4%, net cash flow down by 61 million and margins was only 1.5%, with a profit per vehicle sold of just 470 euros, a margin of 1.5% and a drop of 7% in sales in China. The company is in serious crisis. And you can also see on his chart here that there is still really no one of the Germans that can call themselves real competition to BYD or Tesla, even with Tesla's very bad quarter. And Joe shared some more information about the Cybercab production as he wrote. More interesting details on these Giga Texas Cybercab front underbody castings. At least 305 have now been made based on the markings on each casting, so it seems like Tesla could easily start low-volume production of the Cybercab this year. Seems like Tesla is sandbagging the production timeline for the Cybercab, but as this is a whole new technology, both in the car and the production method, it's probably a good idea to sandbag it a bit, as a lot of things can go wrong. And the Chinese might be cheating a bit with how good their cars are doing, as Ray for Tesla wrote. This video recently went viral in China. This blogger was skeptic about all these EV achieving extremely low drag coefficient, including a few record-breaking numbers. He wanted to see if his Huawei-branded avatar really has a drag coefficient of 0.21 as advertised. He took his avatar to get in a wind tunnel test, and the tested CD is 0.2818 at 120 kilometers an hour, 30% more inflated than the claimed numbers. So Chinese car companies seems to be cheating a bit. What a surprise. And it is now official, as Elon wrote on X, Starbase is now officially a city. I hope Elon can get the zip code of 69420, but it was back in 2021 that Elon said he wanted to make Starbase into a real city, and here we are. Elon Musk has officially now made a city from where you are going to be able to take a flight to Mars. This man is truly making the future awesome. And Elon gets another win, as OpenAI has bowed to the pressure from civic leaders and ex-employees, and of course Elon Musk, announcing in a blog post on Monday that its non-profit would retain control of the company, even as it restructures into a public benefit corporation. So OpenAI will become open once again. And if you think, well, everyone can make an over-the-air software update these days, well, check this out. Software update for the e-tron, but only in the workshop. Because a car that cost 80,000 euros apparently doesn't support over-the-air. Embarrassing. Indeed, they have all been bragging about how they can offer everything Tesla can. But here, 13 years after Tesla made the first over-the-air software update, Audi still can't do it. Their slogan, Versprung durch Technik, which translates to English to progress through technology. Yeah, it seems like they have forgotten all about that part. And the New York State's Democrats plans to bid a deal that allows Tesla to run a plant near Buffalo on a $1 per year lease and receive almost $1 billion in benefits. Tesla's Buffalo Gigafactory was part of a 2014 state agreement to create jobs and boost green energy. But because Elon voted for Trump, the Democrats don't want that anymore. Senators also want the subsidies returned, and for those managing the state and the city pension fund to get rid of any investment in Tesla. Now, that would be a very stupid idea, in my opinion, here just days before Tesla launched their Robotaxi. I don't really care too much about politics, but this just seems like a bunch of poor losers, angry at Musk because he voted for Trump. Because Tesla is still creating jobs and boosting clean energy. But apparently, that does not matter anymore. And Nick shared this video and wrote, Cybertruck at work towing 10,000 pounds today. This truck tow way better than any GMC 1500 or the F-150 in our experience. Never feels overworked. Yeah, it keeps doing real pickup truck stuff all the time. It almost seems like it's a real pickup truck. And if you still don't get why AI and humanoid robots are going to take off like a rocket over the next 5 years, well, David Sachs explained it very well in the All In podcast.
Then you've got the chips. I mean, the chips are getting better at, 3 to 4x a year. It's not just the individual chips that are getting better. They're figuring out how to network them together, like with NVL72, it's like a rack system. So my point is just look, the algorithms, the chips, and the data centers are all improving or scaling at a rate of, 3 to 4x a year. That's 10x every 2 years, okay? Where people don't understand exponential progress is that if you're getting better at 10x every 2 years, that doesn't mean you'll be at 20x in 4 years. It means you'll be at 100x. So the models, the chips, and the data centers will all be 100 times more powerful in 4 years, let's say at the end of this presidential term. So you multiply those things together, the algorithms, the chips, and then the raw compute that's available, you're talking about a 1,000,000x increase, some of which will be captured in price reductions, some of it will be in the performance ceiling, and then some of it will just be in the overall amount of AI compute that's available to the economy. But the impact of this thing is going to be absolutely massive. And I think people still don't even appreciate that fact because they don't understand exponential progress.
Yeah. Yes, this is something most people just can't comprehend, and why Morgan Stanley is talking about humanoid robots market being a $5 trillion market cap in 2050. 25 years from now, it will be there much faster than that. As AI chips gets 100 times better, algorithms are getting 100 times better, and data centers are getting 100 times larger. So as Sachs explains, that means that AI power increased by 1,000,000x in just 4 years. So we are back to what Elon has been saying. Electricity will become the bottleneck. Luckily, the grid and energy generation is also being disrupted. And hopefully, AI that we are creating, that is getting so much better over the next 4 years, can help us make AI more energy efficient and create better grids and energy generation systems and so on. But the capabilities of AI system will power our autonomous cars, and humanoid robots will increase like nothing we have ever seen before over the next 5 years. No matter if it is 1,000,000x or just 100,000x, it's going to be wild to witness. And Tesla reminded us all. Electric motors have an order of magnitude fewer parts than internal combustion engines. Fewer moving parts equals less maintenance and repairs. Just saying. That is all we have time for in this Overflow News Show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it on YouTube. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And if you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for the support. But if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel, or become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out as some extra perks like early access, ad-free versions of my videos, exclusive videos. So hit the members button or check out Patreon to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on X. I post pretty much all the news as it comes out and a lot more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. It is also possible to support the show without becoming a member or a patron. There is a donation option down below or on my website bestintesla.com. You can also become an executive producer and get news articles, exclusive videos, behind the scenes, and access to all my research charts and spreadsheet also on bestintesla.com, or as simple as hitting the super like button. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.